Right. Hello. Hello. This is High Priestess Jamila, blessed be. And boy, I just been punching out videos all day, left and right. I hope everybody's doing well. I wanted to come and talk about covens. So I guess this would be the live for the solitary witches or either covens. You may be a solitary witch or you may be a coven that is dealing with a coven attack. And I'm pretty sure that if you are in a coven, that a coven would more than likely have a lot of what I call spiritual resources. And that would be knowledge and wisdom and ideas and inspiration. But if you are a solitary witch, more than likely, if you have several different witches attacking you, they're all doing different things to you. They all have different spirits and ancestors. Um, they all have different emotions. And they may all even attack on different days, which may make you feel like you're constantly under attack. Okay, so I want to come and talk to y'all, especially if you're a solitary witch. So I think that if a coven had some kind of real threat, like a threat to their physical well-being, a threat to their financial well-being, someone that, just comes out of pocket threatening them, then I do believe that covens have the right to defend themselves. But there are more instances than you could imagine where covens will become, and I'm not saying this about every coven, but there are some covens that will come drunk with power. They will become corrupted. They will become diabolical, and they will bully people. And so I wanted to come and speak about that for a few minutes for those of you that are dealing with that. I think that people have the right to take their magic to whatever level that they want. So I'm not going to be sharing my personal opinion on covens that attack people. They do what I can say to you is they do what they do, and you do what you do about it. A lot of people say, Jamila, can I actually successfully deal with a coven and make out okay? And the answer is definitely yes. Um, so this is sort of like the dark underworld side of witchcraft that is really, really horrible. I think it's a byproduct of possibly religion along with, learned misogyny and hatred. Because I've noticed that covens, they mainly attack women and they mainly attack women with children, which is really strange. But, when it comes to the whole stigmatization of witches, period, as far as them eating children and killing people, they definitely fit the status quo as far as that is concerned. Um, there are many, many different types of witches and many, many, many different. There are a lot of covens out there. that they just don't do things like that. They are practicing the craft and they are connecting with their ancestors. They are really into their craft, which, may include spirit seeking or, just really, really into the craft. But there's some covens that are bullies. And, they have this whole fantasy about taking over the world and, doing harm to people. And a lot to me, it's one of those things to where it can be very scary because you feel like you are up against the beast. Very scary when you are dealing with a coven attacking you and there's three or more witches. A coven can be considered three or more witches in a group. Um, and, that's just what that is. So there is a way to deal with covens. It's sort of changed because the energies have gotten very, very intense. Um, the energies have gotten very intense the past 4 years at least. And there has been all sorts of horror stories when it comes to covens. I mean, if you go and look at some of the witch forums, it is absolutely scary. And so, can you beat them? The answer is absolutely yes. Um, can a solitary witch deal with 3, 6, 9, 12, or up to 100 witches at once? Absolutely. Okay. You just have to think and you have to be smart. You have to keep calm. That's the main aspect of it. I think that you definitely need to have your protection in place. I think that you need to stand your ground. And I think that you have to learn and understand what to do about it. Okay. I'm not going to necessarily speak on what I do about it because I have been attacked. I'm just going to tell my own story. I have been getting attacked by 4 different covens for the past several years. And it's very draining. It takes a lot out of you. It doesn't necessarily have to drain you or take a lot out of you until you figure out how to deal with it. Coincidentally, what we've been noticing is that covens can be hidden behind certain associations, such as um, like sororities, um, groups and things of that nature. Um, and I will give this opinion. I think that sometimes it can just be downright bullying. Okay. So, you know, there's definitely a ritual. I think that if you have had a coven attacking you, for example, there's a lot of people that will do the black candle vigils, okay? And those are definitely useful. The black candle vigils. What is up with my viewers? Why isn't anybody in here? What is going on? That is so weird. Um, wow. I've had 1 or 2 people peeking in here and now it's at 0. Okay. Right. Okay, give me a second, y'all. Let me do something real quick here because I don't know what's going on here, but let's see what we can do about that because for some reason I've had people peeking in and out all day. Um, in fact, I've noticed certain covens that have gotten so many people addicted to drama. Like, this is very, very useful information that I'm talking about here. That's weird that I've only got one or two people in here. That's very, very strange. Hold on a second. Right. I'm not sure what's going on here, but I'll just tell y'all what I know. Um, you know, there's no need for you to be afraid of a coven if you're a solitary witch. Okay. But there is a certain way of dealing with it. And so a lot of you guys have really, really been repressed and oppressed by these covens. A lot of you guys have been, a lot of you have been backed into a corner because, either the spells and the rituals that they do, but they take to doing other things too. And yes, there is a way to deal with them. Okay. I'm not going to speak about that on here, obviously. And what I noticed is that that's going to be one of the things that I'm going to be looking out for whenever I do you guys' readings, in particular the personal private readings, because some of y'all, you have like a coven that is seriously on the attack and they're constantly attacking you every chance that they get for whatever reason, throwing the evil eye at you, trying to destroy your family, trying to destroy your life. And you don't have to allow that to happen. Okay. You don't have to feel like you can't fight back a coven, even if you are by yourself. It's called boundaries. Okay. It's called boundaries. And I personally feel that, covens are, they are at a disadvantage when they do that, especially when they bully young witches, especially when they bully witches that first come out of the broom closet. I personally don't respect it when they're doing things like that. And there's definitely a way to deal with them. In fact, one deity that I know right off my head, two of them that I know right off of my head. Number one would be Kali Ma, and the second one would be Hecate. Is really a very good help when it comes to covens, but you have to deal with them in a certain way. And I think that this is important because Spirit called me to do this discussion because I personally am tired of, covens. First of all, I feel that a lot of them that decide to attack solitary witches and to do some of the things that they do, I personally, and this can be a male or female coven, I personally do not respect it. And I think that they have God complexes. And I think that they are factually going to push it to the point where looking at probably 10 or 20 years from now, witchcraft is going to be completely outlawed. And there's still a effort to integrate it in today's world, which is why you'll see people talking about New Age. Now, I personally do not want witchcraft to be commercialized like that. I think I like it the way that it is. But I also think that there is a huge concern over these covens attacking people, destroying their lives because it's unnecessary BS. And I want to let every solitary witch know that you do have the power to overcome that coven. Stop allowing them to scare you and to frighten you. Stop allowing that. Okay. They are in violation. Okay. Especially when they come out the gate attacking you and, trying to define you and trying to define your craft and the little itty bitty things that they do that is very, very annoying. Okay. Um, the way spirit sees it is that sometimes the outright bullying that covens do is not necessary for the sustaining of their life or their survival. In other words, they don't have to do it, but they still do. So there's quite a bit of you out there that are being attacked by covens and you don't even really know it. You don't even really know it unless somebody tells you. And so obviously, I've spoke about bad covens before. Um, but I think the fact that I'm talking about it in this context tonight states that spirit is really looking at this situation and taking it very, very seriously. Especially a lot of you that are descendants of witches, shamans, and you have just as right to practice as they do. I mean, they will totally try to change your identity or either steal your identity. It's really, really bad out there, and um that's just like I was saying previously, my circles that I do on the Sabbaths we're not considered to be a coven because none of the people in my circle communicate with each other. Um, but my Sabbaths do help me prepare for being a high priestess of a coven. So eventually I will have a coven. We will not operate that way. Um, I think that just like with alcohol, when it comes to magic, you have to drink responsibly. And there are a lot of people that just don't do that when it comes to it. What covens are trying to do is they are trying to take away your independence and your freedom and your liberties, as well as your power, your personal power. That's what they're trying to do. And, quite often, covens will get clients that are like family members. And so your family members will almost sell you out to these covens, pay them thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to destroy you and mess up your life if they don't like you. And I can tell you that when you learn the plan to stop that coven from doing that to you, and um, when you learn that plan to do that, because they'll almost try to demonize you to the point where you feel like something is wrong with you, like you've done something wrong, and they'll play this real crazy narcissistic game with you. It's pretty disgusting. But some of them operate in silence. Okay, some covens operate in silence. Some of them, they're not gonna say nothing to you. Okay, if someone goes to a coven to attack you and do work on you, it doesn't matter if you are wrong or right. The person will assume that this coven will be able to hurt you or take you down in some kind of way. And that is not the truth. Okay. In fact, that um, there's a ritual that Hecate showed me to be done on them just once. And then after that, you may have to do black candle vigils for a little while, because the problem is that a lot of times it can turn into pure unadulterated evil, very diabolical, um, and spirit sees it is unnecessary. A lot of the times, what I have found that happens to some of these covens that are of a lesser god, or I don't want to say lesser god, but covens that are what I consider to be stupid witches. Okay, they will. There's a paranoia that exists, and once they have found a target to hone in on, that target all of a sudden becomes responsible for all of their problems that they've been having for years. And they operate on a very paranoid level, okay? And, because they know they're wrong. And if they have one little thing that happens, then they're attacking and they're making these voodoo jars, and they are, constantly attacking, constantly targeting. And the next thing you know, your life is turned upside down. And I can tell you that a lot of y'all's ancestors, they don't like it, because they feel that those covens are destroying your relationship with the craft. They are denying your right to use the craft, because they are trying to let you know and see. A lot of times I do feel that these covens, uh, sometimes I feel that even the church will use them, which is very hypocritical. People of the church will use them, which is again very hypocritical. And so it's something that you can do about it. And they'll beat you up pretty bad spiritually. You wake up aching and pains, and sometimes you'll wake up with bruises. Sometimes you'll wake up and you'll feel like something sucked all of the life out of you. And it can get pretty dangerous. I can tell you that a coven murdered my aunt, my auntie that died about 20 years ago, 15 years ago. She was such a good lady too. She was an Aries. She died of a really bad brainstem stroke. And it's very sad, when I look back, because at the time that she died, I was, not aware of the types of things that were going on, but and they'll terrorize you. They will, Hazy. They'll terrorize you. Yeah, she was such a good lady. A tremendous loss to the family. The Coven wasn't in my family. Everybody loved my auntie. It was a Coven outside of the family that nobody was actually aware of. So I've lost a couple of my family members due to Coven magic, and it's pretty disgusting. And understand that if you are being hurt or harmed by an entire coven of, they call themselves wicked witches, but they're actually, in my opinion, whether or not you're a witch or not, or whether or not you're in a coven or not, you are still very weak and you're just a bully. And that's just my opinion of them. I said I wasn't going to assert any opinions, but I will say that because, yeah, yeah. And coincidentally, they are in on, and they don't realize it, or some of them do realize it, that they are in on a lot of horrible things that happen to children, because they do target women with children. They do. They target women with children. And I've seen them. I've actually had clients that have had their children taken away because they were not prepared to deal with the coven, and they may have went crazy. A lot of these covens, they like to try to drive people crazy. They like to try to do head work on you. And you can just feel it. It'll produce this tightness around your neck, your throat, your head, you know. And it's something that they're not supposed to be doing, actually. I'm planning on getting some more soap base so that I can make some mugwort and chamomile soaps. I think I may put one other herb in it, because I think that I think that it's a miracle if you and your family survived a coven. And so with that said, that's something that I do not agree with, because I told you guys that during the age of Aquarius, it's not about doom and gloom. God wants to use witches to help. And I feel that this type of behavior is ruining that for a lot of people. And I think that what I'm seeing, especially with the prevalence of gang stalking, what I am seeing is an extreme disappointment in these particular people. Okay. Yeah, they do it all. They do scapegoating. They do a lot of different things, and they don't care about the pain and the suffering that they are causing to you. They don't. They don't care. Okay. Sometimes you have to watch, like, where you're going, where you're moving to. You have to watch that sometimes. And it's extremely exhausting. So that's what the whole spiritual war is, okay? Is definitely with these covens, more than likely. Hold on a second. If you're feeling a certain energy, or if you're feeling overwhelmed, you're not just dealing with one witch, but you're dealing with many, sometimes up to 100, depending on how large their congregation is. And they don't have boundaries and they don't care about you. They have no empathy for you at all. Okay. So they've caused financial problems in you, they've caused health problems. All of those things can be turned around. You can heal from those things. Okay. And there is a specific ritual that I do for my clients that are dealing with a coven. I haven't had to do it in a while, but it does work because they think it's funny. But a witch's cackle is not goofy like that. They're goofy. The witch's cackle is not about that. It's about transmutation. Okay. It's about turning the bad into good, turning the situation around to where somebody that's trying to harm you is just a joke. The witch's cackle is not about let's all attack this one person and try to destroy their life. That's not what it's about. Okay. And it sucks. Yeah, there Z, thank you for the because I'm pretty sure that they're in here. I can tell you that I had issues with a coven even on YouTube, and for some reason they wanted me to be caught up in some bull crap that I don't care about. Like, get out of here with that. They want people to constantly talk about this craziness and stuff that nobody cares about, just this mindless, brainless psycho babble of craziness. And so they've whenever they want to, they want monkeys dance monkey dance, that's what they want. And so they want you to come with that, they want you to be on that stuff. They want you to, no, nobody wants to be involved with that, and you can't force anybody. Okay, that's what they want. Because and yeah. When you have things like pentacles in your house, when you have things that are protection, um, they will, they get angry at those things because they know that those things are protecting you. And I've really been guarding my astral with guardian angels, and I go outside earlier today, and I noticed that um, my little fairy with the little ball is like kicked over, and I don't know how that happened. My cat didn't do it. So it's just weird. It's just weird. Yeah, they're probably not thumbsing up Z because they're always watching, and and so yeah, thank you. If you can thumbs up, if we just have one or two thumbs up, that's fine, because there's a lot of people that's going to be feeling me. And what spirit tells me is that they're so desperate to do harm to you that they'll even try to send you these psychic messages of, I'm going to come over there and kill you and your whole family. Trust me, your spirit guides will flip they goddamn cars over. Okay. Not even going to lie to you. It was very bizarre and strange the other night. I was woken up out of my sleep to 30 gunshots. This neighborhood has never had that. And They do disgusting things. I'm not saying that that was a coven or even gang stalkers, but it's just the point. Witches are supposed to be wise. You know what I'm saying? They ain't supposed to just be, and see, that's why a lot of people were insulted by that movie called The Witches. Because the way that they depicted those evil witches, I didn't get insulted, but a lot of people did, but when you think about it, that's how those covens are. It's like it's, it, it's like a Joker grin or something. It's like they're jokes or something. Like they're not. It's so unreal that they're not real. It's like, this is really. It's so unbelievably stupid. To the point where I really, really, enjoy looking at the peaceful, family orientated witches. You know what I'm saying? It's really, really sad the way that they operate. So don't be afraid of them. Okay? I've been hearing another, and I guess I can't really call her a witch because she doesn't say that she's a witch, but she brings up good points. And what she brings, the good points that she brings up, that chicken is good. The good points that she brings up is that it gets so bad because your ancestors and your spirits are protecting you from their so-called magic, where many of them are going to jail. They're going to jail because they're doing stupid stuff. You know? I don't know, Z. You know what? I haven't watched that movie, but I was told that the true story of that movie, like Hollywood twisted the story or something. I don't know. I'm not the woman king, Z. I'm a witch. I'm a mother. I'm a protector of my family. I'm not the woman king. I'm not. Because I have personally been attacked by covens, and I will, say that I have been harmed, and because I came from the school of the hard knocks, and if you're not paying attention, then they can lead you down some pretty scary paths, and all you want is what's best for your family. You just want to live a life, and they feel as though, you know they have so much hatred. And so that's what I do. I just what else can I do? I'm a survivor. I'm disappointed in certain people. I'm disappointed in the things that people do. But that you got to you got to pick it up and keep moving. So there are rituals and there are ways of dealing with it. If you've been targeted by a coven, chances are you may have anxiety, you may have depression. I sometimes when I see women posting their babies in social media, I just want to tell them, get your baby out of social media, because you just never know who's watching you, right? But, God, or, goddess, or whatever you believe is God, wants me to, share this knowledge. Um, like I said, it's not the point of judgment, and it's not the point of saying who's better, who's a better person. What it is not only surviving, but fulfilling your life, because They just pick a time frame and they will spiritually abuse you. And so a lot of them really can't really complain about the church because they're doing the same thing. And you just don't expect that out of a woman who is supposed to be a nurturer. You don't attack people that don't deserve it. You don't try to ruin the lives of people that don't deserve it, but that's what they do. Okay. So, um, like I said, 9 times out of 10, if you've been attacked by a coven, um, and 9 times out of 10, if you've been attacked by a coven, you need a great deal of healing because your stress receptors, your nervous system is all out of whack. Some of them are even performing medical witchcraft, to where they'll do a spell and you can have certain symptoms. And it's just, it's one of those things to where it sucks. I think that what you do have to do, though, is take care of the situation. And, I think that you have to realize that there is a way to deal with it. Okay. Because it seems very, 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 what do you call it? Scary, intimidating. Yeah, they're doing a lot. They're doing a lot. And, it's called corrupted power. And if they want to do something to harm you, they will for whatever petty reason, petty differences, not even a real reason. You haven't threatened their family. I mean, after all, they are witches. Don't they know how to do witchcraft? Right? So, and I've seen covens on YouTube. It seems like to me that, they're performing real magic. To me, I think that a lot of them start settling on bullying and it's not really magic. Yeah. To the point, I believe that tarot card readings, they get multi millions of views per month. And if you're a new reader that steps into the tarot world on YouTube, they attack like hyenas. And it's embarrassing to me. When I hear about it, when I see it, it's like, what is this? This is disgusting. And they don't know you. They don't have the right to judge you. They don't know your individual relationship with your spirits. They're acting as though they invented tarot, or that they invented candles, and that you're somehow copying them. And you start to think, well, this is not a witch, this is a psychopath. What is that? So, like I said, don't judge me based upon that, because I know my life path and I know yours too. And they know your life path as well. Okay. They know your life path as well because they can read you. And if they see good things coming for you, they want to destroy that. Okay. Hmm. So everything will be okay. You know, one of the things that what God is telling me is that if you need to relax, take those spiritual baths and drink you some red wine, not the sweet wine, but drink you some red wine, some real red wine. Okay. And try not to let it stress you out, because that's one of the reasons why you're probably feeling like you have to sage or smudge your house. You know, and they're doing the most. Okay. One thing I don't like is when they attack children. And it's not that if you're a mother or a father, you have a family, like your children are supposed to be like your bulletproof vest, like, don't attack me because I have kids. I mean, if you're going to step into the world of witchcraft, you have to be able to know how to protect your children. Okay. Um, so it's not that, you know what I'm saying? And it's not even that, I think that like I said earlier, they can do what they do and you do what you do about it. That's true. Okay. Because I've been getting more and more level of understanding. Like the past month or so, I have been seeing it, even in the readings that I've been doing for the channel, coven attacks, 10, 20 people bullying one person spiritually, right? And so the reason why it's becoming, why we're talking about it over here and why we're becoming aware of it is because spirit is dealing with them. Spirit is going to deal with them. Okay. And a coven can be considered, I'd say, two or more witches. And see, a lot of you guys will get blindsided by them because you're just at home chilling and doing your thing. You're not even thinking about them. But they're constantly, buzzing around like buzzards. You know what I'm saying? And they just don't want to stop. I mean, they will try to attack for years and years and years, um individually or together, and I just think it's ridiculous. And a lot of people will say that it's Satan, it's the devil. Not even the devil. Not No. So, you know, just understand that don't feel as though you are supposed to be subservient or scared, especially if it's a crone witch, because technically you're already a crone, even if you're 20 years of age, you just haven't made it there yet. So even a crone witch does not have the right to do that. Okay. Even, they try to act like, oh, well, I'm an elder, but a lot of times these elders need to be checked. Now, I'm not saying go over to their house and beat the crap out of them. No. But there is a specific ritual that you can do. And I think it's personally ridiculous. They're going to end up bringing back the Crusades again. No, I'm joking. That's not going to happen. But, yeah. So, anyway, I just wanted to come and chat for a minute about that, to not feel like they're special just because it's more than one of them. They should be doing something like planting a tree, showing respect for Mother Earth, but that's not what they're doing. And it's not to say that that's what they have to do. You can't change them. But, and Spirit has been telling me this for quite some time that they're going to be binded so bad that they can't do magic, and that's sad. So evidently they really don't like it or like themselves, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that people of all areas of life can have self-hatred. They put a lot of self-hatred on blacks in particular. But what about witches that hate themselves? They have a lot of self-loathing, and they think, as a witch, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and that's not true. Okay. So just, and then if you're dealing with a coven, you can absolutely come to a solitary witch to get help. Solitary witches are actually extremely powerful on their own. Okay. So, you don't necessarily have to be in a coven or create a coven. Not until it's that time. Not until it's the right time. I know that a few years ago I felt compelled to try to start a coven, and it was a total disaster because it just wasn't time, and you know what I'm saying? And it was a total disaster because, I personally feel like, first of all, if you're in a coven, you're supposed to like and trust your coven members. Mm, not exactly what they're doing. Okay, so you guys will see the ritual go up um, on the site. It's not going to actually go into detail about what I do, but it's going to be about basically, something, I'll name it, protect yourself, undo the workings of a coven. Because if you're dealing with a coven, you're dealing with, like I said, a lot of different people. And, what I see in spirit a lot, which is why I would be so, so very careful about erecting a coven, is coven members doing silly things and their own ancestors kind of going, what the heck are you doing? What is this? Yeah. And I think that it's very possible that they can mess with the wrong person. Absolutely. Most solitary witches have dealt with covens their whole life, even before they went into practicing the craft. They've dealt with covens their entire life. And I think that one of the things that they do is that they try to break down your resistance, make you feel like you're not welcome or something. And it's like, well, I kind of enjoy, a lot of us solitary witches, we like it quiet. We don't like a bunch of wrestle, ruzzle, rubble rousting, and we don't, you know what I'm saying? Very quiet people. Not to say that, because a lot of people say, oh, quiet people, you have to watch them. No, not necessarily. We're just, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, and it's just, it's so weird, and they just start to look like jokers to me. The energy, like when I see them in spirit, it just looks like a big joke to me. Like, but however, they can erect spells and they can do rituals on you that can really do harm to your life. And I almost try to put you in some kind of bondage. And that's female covens too. Try to run other people's lives. Try to tell people what to do. Try to treat people like they're children. It's bizarre. Try not to get too annoyed and just, because it's, it's really a very disgusting dehumanization. And then especially when it comes to it's astronomically stupid to me is what it is, because I think that if you truly have power, you should be using it for something else. But feel like it's like they've fallen off or something. It's very bizarre. So anyway, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. I hope y'all have a good evening. I hope that I was able to help some of you guys that are dealing with covens. If you do your own cards and you're wondering what is going on, what is it? Because they've grew their numbers, which can be scary and intimidating, but you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, they can all fall down at once. And they should. Okay, because you have the power if you don't have the knowledge of what to do. Love you too, Z. Yeah, it's like I can promise you that it's gonna be okay. I've had stressful situations. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think it's a sign of the times though, because some of the stuff that they're conjuring, goodness gracious. And Beatrix Bijou was attacked by a coven. I did a reading on her. Hey, Shamika. I did a reading on Beatrice Bijou. That spirit is telling me that was a coven too. And they totally had her. They did a they did a work. They did a shakedown, work down on her, took her down, ruined her life. Okay. Not every person that has problems, could it be a coven? But I know for a fact that one, because if I did a reading on it, that's definitely what my spirits were telling me. So, and it does suck. And guess what? That money that you have to pay, because it's one initial blast and then a coven and then a black candle vigil. That money that you have to pay for them doing unnecessary things, playing around with magic, they're going to have to pay that debt. They're going to pay that debt. Because while y'all are asking why, so is spirit. Spirit is asking why. Spirit is asking why. Well, there's help for that. Don't lose hope in that. There's help for that. Okay. As annoying as it is, they'll try to turn your life upside down. There's a few other things that I want to say that I'm not going to say. Oh, I could tell some horror stories. I can tell you. But what I can tell you is that, um, you know, you as a solitary and even us solitary witches can help you. with that. We're not backed into a corner with 10 or 20 people against one person. And I've noticed a lot of people have been thoroughly miseducated, purposely being encouraged to, like, feel like, oh, well, I've got the power within me and I don't want to work with any goddesses. And I think that if you do have a coven against you, I think that you should, because goddesses are not, I mean, you don't have to commit to the goddesses. They'll just help you if you call them. I know they've been helping me. Well, and I think that if you believe that they can kill you, then they possibly could. Don't ever believe that their death spells will work on you. But you do need to defend yourself. So I have been wrestling with, the reason why I'm talking about this is because I've been wrestling with a coven. Not even a coven in, I work for clients, and it is not always an easy thing. But I think that when spirit, because I'm growing, like I said, I'm going through a really powerful transition of growth. Pretty soon I'll have a new house with a nice little place for me to keep my plants and flowers and herbs and stuff that I'm growing. And so that's one of the reasons why I have no reason to sit here and get upset and wish death on these covens. I don't want that karma. I'm gonna let God and goddess do their job. So it's not about wishing death on them. It's an endless cycle though sometimes with them until it gets ended. And I can tell you that it does end at some point. There is an end game, because a lot of people are thinking, well, when is the end game? You know, I think that you have to have a certain personality type to even be involved with these covens, but I just wouldn't be playing around with it like that, you know. So, yeah, I definitely will. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to build my channel back up. I could go into a lot of detail, man. A lot. I'm not. I'm not, but I will tell you that I have seen them take certain positions so that they can have leeway, or access to certain things. So, especially if you've been on YouTube, like for example, when I buy my house, I think that the government really needs to stop making things public information. But unfortunately, even if those records were closed, they would be able to infiltrate. So I think that it is important to put a stop to it. And eventually it will, especially if you just say, there's a lot of people that are just really, really good people, and they just want to do what's best for their family. They just want to live a happy and fulfilling life, you know? So, well, that's good, Shamika. Some of them send you energy that's non-transmutable. That's another thing. Um, some of them don't send energy at all. Some of them take. So, Shamika, you may have gotten lucky, because I can tell you that some of these covens, it's like parasites. They, you know, take and take and take, and they're thieves. Okay. Hmm. And they think of everything, you know, do this and do that, and we can do this and we can do that and we can do this. And spirit be looking at them like, okay, but they always think that when they think of a new plot or a new plan that they're going to win, but they always lose, is the last thing I'm going to tell you. Okay. Because when you talk about unorthodox, you know, and I understand being creative and thinking of creative geniuses and stuff like that, but you know, I think that what they don't realize is that many of you guys are descendants of witches. Even a lot of y'all that come to me to get work done, y'all got witchy ancestors. I wouldn't dare do you dirty. That's who brought you to me. And I often wonder, do they even believe in what they talking about? Because what the hell are you doing? You know? So anyway, that's pretty much it that I wanted to talk about. I will see y'all later. Yes, thank you for hitting the thumbs up if you have. I've noticed that my thumbs up has been a little low. Some witch did some work on me a few days ago. I'm like, what are you doing work on me for? Like, are you confused? You're really confused, aren't you? Like, seriously. Ugh. So, you know, I don't know if they get spirit telling me that they bad for the economy too. Because think about it, there's probably thousands, maybe even millions of covens, probably up into the, you know, tens of thousands of covens or 20,000s of covens. And if they're all operating this way, my God, you know, no wonder we were headed for nuclear war. And they gonna get dealt with because now your narcissistic plight, you're not gonna destroy the inhabitants of this earth because of your narcissism. And that's basically what they're doing. Okay. So, you know, yeah, that's a good deal. Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the reasons, you know, I have currently one person in mind, actually two people in mind, three people that I have in mind for my coven. Um, but I think it's you know, it's good practice. You know, the one thing that I can see, and this is transmuting the energy, is that you know they'll teach you a lot. You learn a lot, and you'll learn to you know what you have to do. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's strange and bizarre. But okay, you guys, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. I will see y'all later. And yes, I am offering Coven protection services. I should have been offering it years ago from what Spirit is telling me. So, all right, y'all. I will catch y'all later. Blessings.